All right. Now, nerds, this is the other half of the conversation, if you will. The main show that we do on the main channel is the news show where we talk about stuff that's coming up or, announcements and things like that. And then this is That Just Happened. This show is where we do the interacting with the thing that was announced and talk about, what we think about it, where it's going, all the things and all the stuff. So, this is going to be a fairly brief one because this week has been quite busy. I have not been able to digest much of the nerdy content, if you will. I did, though, get to watch some stuff, not the least of which being Harley Quinn's very problematic Valentine's Day special. This is... I've said it a million freaking times. If you are a fan of the Venture Brothers and you are sad that we are not getting anything beyond the movie that is apparently still happening, hopefully it'll be done soon, then this is the show you should be watching. And the very problematic Valentine's Day special is a little far as far as taste goes, because Venture Brothers, if nothing else, is intellectual on a certain level, but also funny enough that really even if you don't understand the depth of the humor, you still get the humor itself. So Harley Quinn is similar in that, the pop culture references and that kind of stuff, but there's not a whole lot of depth in the humor. It's just, dick and fart jokes. That's really all we're getting from Harley Quinn. But the animation style is similar. Again, the social awareness, the meta-ness of it is there in spades. So that's why I say it scratches the itch. The special specifically is ridiculous. This is not a review of the special necessarily, but if you were questioning whether or not you wanted to watch it and you are okay with crude, crass humor, watch the special, and if you dig that, then go back and start at season 1 and go. But yeah, it's good stuff. I think this is a pretty good place to start if you're unfamiliar with the property. Then the only other thing really that we have, and we're adding a new section to the That Just Happened show too, just because I want this to be a little bit more of a back and forth. But Walking Dead season 11. All right, so I am into the second half of season 11. Which is the final season, which at this rate, I'll be done just in time for the Michonne and Rick show to come out. But so season 11, the last episode I saw was about halfway through the encounter with the new community in the apartment building and all of that craziness and Maggie's son hitches a ride, and that's kind of where I left it. So still think this is one of the best shows on television in many, many years. I'm very excited for the 3 spin-off shows that are coming very soon. I do have one critique, at the very least for the second half, if not the entirety of season 11, and that is we get a lot of dead friends in this season. We get a lot of, and not like mainline characters, only secondary at best characters, most of them tertiary characters. You see them introduced and then 3 episodes later they're dead, kind of like they do. So that's kind of my first critique, is like, with a show that's supposed to have stakes, these stakes were pretty telegraphed. You could see them coming a mile away, because if we get introduced to this new character who doesn't have a whole lot of screen time and isn't actively involved in the evolution of the plot, then they're probably gonna die. And that's kind of how they made it feel like, oh, anyone could die, when really, no. You have a core, in the later seasons at the very least, you have a core set of characters that will never die, just the way it is. And again, I could be, by the time we get to the end of the season, I could be proven wrong with this. But as of coming from about season 8 or so on, that's effectively how it goes. In the first 4 or 5 seasons, there is definitely a sense of, wow, really anybody could die. I mean, Glenn dies, Abraham dies, oh my God. So all of that being said, we're used to seeing walkers wearing the faces of people we knew when they were alive. Why is it such an issue? And in the mythology of the series, by season 11, we are sitting at over a decade, almost 2 decades, I believe, according to the timeline, almost 2 decades of being in this zombie apocalypse. How is it that we are still taking issue with walkers wearing our friends' face? Like, they're not your friends anymore. They're not human anymore. They're walkers. They're whatever. Rotters is what they call them in the Commonwealth. They're zombies is what they are. They're not your friends anymore. How are we still taking such major issue with this fact? Like, it just seems out of place when we're this deep in. And it comes up a number of times in season 11. So it just kind of takes me out for a moment. But yeah, that would be my ever so nitpicky critique of season 11. I'm still loving it. I'm still digging it. The whole Eugene subplot is amazing. That guy that plays Eugene, I wish I could remember his name, but yeah, doing amazing things. I really you can feel his pain when he finds out that Stephanie isn't real, and spoiler alerts, I just threw a whole bunch. I mean, it ended, 3 years ago at this point, so if you haven't watched it yet, then you're like me and you don't really care about spoilers. So yeah. Going forward, this is the new section. So going forward, the things that I am looking forward to interacting with, and maybe I can get a little bit of feedback from you guys if you've watched them already or if you're aware of them to a greater degree than I. Going forward, I'm definitely intrigued by this Backrooms series that's on the YouTubes. I started hearing about it from a guy I work with about 2 months ago. I haven't had the time to put it in rotation. And then all of a sudden I started getting fed all of this stuff in the YouTube algorithm about Backrooms and how it's one of the greatest series. So I don't know, it's kind of working. I'm getting pushed in that direction. So I definitely will probably dip my toes into the Backrooms craziness sometime this week. And also this one, I didn't do any research as to when it starts. I do know it starts soon because, again, we're getting a lot of stuff in the YouTube algorithm pushing for Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, because season 2 is going to be airing in England, in the UK, rather, very, very soon. So if you're in the UK or if you have a way to get your hands on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared season 2, and I have yet to, because I definitely plan on watching it, let me know what's going on, man. Let me know what you think, because that I'm super excited for. And also, going forward, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. As I'm filming this, I was actually planning on going to see it in the theater. That did not work out because I'm way far behind on this week's episodes. So work comes first, but I definitely plan on finding a way to get my hands on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Honestly, I should have said this in the main episode. I was very surprised to see that it is not just tonight in a lot of markets. If you live in a major city, very specifically near me is Denver, if you live in a major city, then there is a fair chance that for the next 5 days, you will be able to catch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey on some big screen situation. It might not be the same screen every night, but it is going through again, for the next 5 days, it's going through a number of theaters. So it's not just the 15th. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's going forward. That is what just happened. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining in this conversation. I'm very much looking forward to whatever. Also, this week, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania comes out. Probably not going to see that one in the theaters, but if you do, let's talk about that down in the comments section. Probably be brought up next week again in the going forward section. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to having those conversations with you nerds down in the comments or wherever. So let's do that. Before we go now, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.